Hi everyone, I'm Hannah and welcome to a quick video talking about hypos. Let's go. Question number 1, what is a hypo? So basically a hypo, otherwise known as hypoglycemia, is when the blood sugar is too low, usually below 5 millimoles or 72 milligrams. It can happen if you delay meals, haven't ate enough carbs in your last meal, do exercise without reducing your insulin or taking enough carbs for the exercise. It can be caused by too much insulin or drinking alcohol on an empty stomach. What are the symptoms of a hypo? Hypos can occur quickly, so it's important to be aware of the signs and symptoms of a hypo and treat it as soon as possible. Everyone has different signs and symptoms during hypos, but the most common is feeling shaky, feeling confused or disorientated, pale, palpitations, fast pulse, tired, headache, sweating, and very hungry. Personally, one of my symptoms that I get during a hypo is as my blood sugar starts to go low, I get really cold, and then as it gets lower, I get really hot and sweaty. As my blood sugar rises again after treating the hypo, I get a tingly sensation or like pins and needles in my tongue, my lips, and my feet. What does it feel like to have a hypo? Often people say it looks and feels like you are drunk or on drugs when you're having a hypo. In fact, driving while having a hypo is considered driving under the influence. That's something that I only learned very recently because I don't drive. I maybe will one day, but that's like a very useful piece of information to know. Personally, I feel like a hypo is sort of like going down a sudden drop on a roller coaster, but it lasts like 10-15 minutes because I get sweaty, shaky, anxious because it's this rush of adrenaline and you just feel like you're gonna pass out or die at any moment, which is why it can be common for a lot of diabetics to overeat when treating a hypo. I have definitely done that many times. It's not good, but you kind of just go into this like survival mode of like eating everything to like make yourself feel better and like get your bloods back at a normal level. But then in the end, you just end up making your bloods go too high, so it's really important to treat it properly. What hypo symptoms can a non-diabetic look out for in a diabetic? Firstly, if you ever notice someone having what you think is symptoms of a hypo or even high blood sugar, never say to someone, you should test your blood sugar, oh, you should take some insulin, I think your blood sugar is low, I think your blood sugar is high. You might not mean it in a rude or demanding way. It can come across as being a little bit rude, and one of the symptoms of low and high blood sugar is feeling very moody, grumpy, and being a little bit short-tempered. It might be their blood sugar. Don't demand them to like check their blood sugar because maybe just someone's in a bad mood, but often it is their blood sugar and not actually them, so don't be offended. If you do notice someone being sweaty, shaky, disorientated and confused, all of a sudden maybe acting a bit drunk out of nowhere, then gently ask them if they are okay. It's okay to say to someone, hey, are you okay? I think, I've noticed some symptoms of like a hypo. Is your blood sugar okay? Just worried. It's okay to like say you're worried and ask them if they're okay, but don't demand anybody to check their blood sugar or take insulin or take a hypo treatment. The diabetic, in majority of the cases, will know what to do and know if they're feeling okay or not. Also, if you have a friend that is diabetic, I would definitely recommend getting to know their hypo symptoms and communicate with them on how you can help them. It's great when people that you care about show an interest in something to do with you and your condition and want to learn about it. How do you treat a hypo? If someone's experiencing hypo symptoms or high blood sugar symptoms, the first thing that they will do is check their blood sugars. I like to test on my labor and then check on my blood monitor to confirm if my blood sugar is low or not. If the blood is 4 and below, they will take a 15 to 20 gram quick acting carb. So this could be 3 glucose tabs, a small carton of fruit juice, 5 jelly babies, or 2 tubes of glucose gel, such as glucogel. After 15 minutes, usually the blood will then start to rise. If they test again and the blood sugar is still below 4, then you repeat the same process again of taking 15 to 20 grams of carbs. If the blood has started to rise again after 15 minutes, then depending on when your next meal is, you usually treat with a further 15 to 20 grams of slow releasing carbs, such as a biscuit, a sandwich, fruit, or milk. Why is it important to treat a hypo? Not responding quickly to a hypo could cause a person to feel worse and worse, leading to them feeling confused or really drowsy. In very severe hypos, people can become unconscious or fit, and that is when someone else needs to step in and treat the hypo for them. How do you treat a severe hypo? I personally believe that this is information that everybody should be aware of, or at least know about, because it could potentially save someone's life. Friends and family of diabetics should know what to do in these sort of situations. It is a lot of pressure to put on someone, but it's so important that the people around you know what to do, because they could save your life, as I have said. Firstly, if you're treating a severe hypo, do not give the person any food or drink because they will not be able to swallow. The first step is putting the person in recovery position. This is where you put them on their side with their head tilted back and their knees bent. If there is a glucagon injection present, this is usually in like an orange case and someone knows how to use it, give them the injection. I personally would recommend that people phone an ambulance regardless, because if you've never had the situation happen before, or you're not sure what to do, or whatever, it might be good to phone an ambulance, or at least get phone the emergency services and get some information on what to do if you've never had it happen before. Severe hypos shouldn't happen often, so don't worry about your friends, your family members, your partner, whoever it is that is diabetic having a severe hypo or having to treat them for a severe hypo. It isn't something that happens very often. Majority of the time, a diabetic can sense when they're having a hypo and they can treat it themselves. But it is still good to be aware that severe hypos can happen and what to do in those sort of situations. What can a non-diabetic person do to help during a hypo? When someone you know is having a hypo, the most important information I will give is just to be there for them. You don't have to do anything unless they ask you to, but just being there, making sure that they're safe, and communicating with them to keep them awake and treating the hypo and making sure nothing bad's happening. That's the most important thing that someone can do to help a diabetic having a hypo. Sometimes, at least I know personally, I feel a bit of an inconvenience to people, especially when I'm having a hypo, so being reassuring and understanding and patient with a diabetic having a hypo is extremely helpful. Okay, so I hope that I have covered majority or everything to do with hypos that non-diabetics can know about hypos. Hopefully you will understand the next time someone talks about a hypo what that means and what to do, and hopefully you might be able to save someone's life by knowing what to do in severe hypos. If you have any questions or videos that you want to see, please leave them in the comments below. All my social media links and information will be in the description box below, and feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more diabetes and mental health related videos. Thank you for watching, stay safe and be diabetes aware.